We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let me see if I can hit the right button here. There we go. Welcome to the program, guys. I wasn't expecting to stream today. For those of you on YouTube, this is a live from Rumble Studio, although I can't seem to get YouTube to use my right thumbnail, which is the one that you saw at the beginning there. I got nothing, but I never stream over to YouTube. But I thought I would, even though this is a quote-unquote, no, it's not a men's issue. It kind of is, because if you know anything about our history, Bleeding Kansas started 5 years when Kansas was going to join the Union, or I should say America at that point. And they were fighting over whether it was going to join as a pro or anti-slavery state. And that's where John Brown comes from, and all the other craziness comes from. And that started 5 years before things actually kicked off. And it is a men's issue. I believe it's one of the biggest men's issue because it's the governance of our countries. It is protecting yourselves from crazy people. In this case, I think it's the crazy people fighting the government, but at some point in time, it might be the good guys fighting the government, depending on how you believe. You might think now the good guys are fighting the government. It's just all crazy, man. It's all crazy. So this just happened apparently about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago. And so I wanted to talk about this. I'll give you some of the stream portion of it. But it's I don't even know how I feel about this. I mean, it's very easy for me to say you must support law enforcement, stop fighting the cops. But if let's say the roles were reversed and I don't know, they were cracking down on conservative people's right to the First and Second Amendment, and they took to the streets and were fighting back against the federal government. In that case, I would be supporting the people fighting the federal government. If you look at what's happening right now in Iran, I support the protesters. What happened in Venezuela when they protested, or rioted, or tried to overthrow the government, I was in support of them overthrowing the government. Now, I'm not saying in this case I support it, but there might become a time when we're on the side of the people fighting the cops. That's what makes this so interesting. I think it just depends on what side you're on. I've got the main story here I'm going to read from, but, I just pulled up I just did a search on X for Minneapolis of what's going on right now. And let me refresh the page real quick. And I have it, clicked on latest, and you've got people here. Well, here's the breaking news. Up a picture of the armed man who fought and was ended by Border Patrol this morning. And that's him right there getting in the face of an officer. Apparently he had a 9mm, and he was taken out. I have video of that, but there are people that are saying, like, hey, you've got these unarmed agents that are on the streets, and they're new agents, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're just going crazy on these people that are peacefully protesting. And we both know they're not peacefully protesting. They're getting in the faces of law enforcement, of course. And that's kind of how this stuff rolls. So I'm gonna go down through the news stories as I have them. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the implications of this, because the Democrats in charge, whether it's Tim Walz, whether it's Gavin Newsom, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, all of them are saying, get in the face. I think they're using these protesters as gullible, stupid patsies. And they say, we're going to rile up our base. Our base is going to go out and get in the face of law enforcement. Law enforcement is we know they're going to protect themselves. Innocent people are going to get hurt, but We will now have the justification to be against Republicans, to be against Trump, to be against law enforcement, to be against these agencies. There are videos of thousands of people marching, but, you know, according to Alex Jones and a couple other sources, these people were brought in on big yellow school buses, hundreds of school buses just coming into the area, dumping people off. It's negative 11 degrees out in Minnesota. I don't know about you. You're probably going to have to get paid to stay out in that kind of weather, in my opinion. So I don't know. This just does not bode well. And I just do not see a stop to this. I don't see a peaceful off-ramp. I don't see how this benefits us in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, from the New York Post, shots fired after federal police in Minneapolis struggled to subdue a guy brandishing a gun amidst protests, a video shows. They say shots rang out in Minneapolis early Saturday after federal police tried to subdue a guy who was waving around a gun, according to law enforcement sources and video posted to social media. 39-second clip showed about half a dozen cops struggling with somebody on the sidewalk in front of a donut shop at 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue when gunfire erupted. Officers appeared to scatter after the barrage of shots went off, according to the footage. This is supposedly, and I'm going to say supposedly and according to police, because it's not like I think the cops are planting stuff in this case. But we have to take it all with a grain of salt until, you know, we have more reporting on it. I am going to try to try to read live chats as they come in, by the way, which I know a lot of content creators read it at the end. But in this case, I want to hear your opinion on where we are in the story as we go. So I'm going to read them as we go. I'm sorry to interject in my news reading, but I want to make sure your voices are heard if you're kind enough to leave me a tip. Big Honk, LOL, says the left standard playbook is pushing until they provoke a response. Then the entire event begins with a response. Classic rules of radicals. Right, it's Davo, right? Or Darvo, I guess I should say. Deny, attack, reverse. I forget the victimize, and I forget what it all stands for. But this is exactly how they do it. They push, they push, they push, they push. And the minute the police respond, that's when they start hitting the record on their cameras. And so very few people have what the before that happened. They just see the reaction, and then they say, oh, the police started it. Police started it. So anyway, we'll continue on here. This happened after the man brandished a firearm with 2 magazines. Did he hold it up and he's like, look, I got this and these. I'm not sure how you brandish all that. In a statement, city officials urged residents to stay calm and avoid the area. We're aware of reports another shooting involving a federal law enforcement in the area of 26 and Nicollet, working to confirm additional details. More than 100 protesters have been at the scene where the encounter occurred. The man's condition was not immediately known. You have these agent provocateurs that are driving around following these agents, and then when the agents stop somewhere to make an arrest or do one of their actions, they're on the radios, they've got signal chat rooms, they've got whistles they're blowing in the area, and they've got people scattered throughout the city that are literally spotters for ICE. And then everybody converges on the scene, and they start making a ruckus. Surprising photo of a Karen hugging another Karen. Shocking. Governor Tim Walz replied, of course, at stirring the pot even further, because they don't really care about the safety of the people. I do not believe Tim Walz cares about the safety of the people, or else he would say, let the officers do their thing, do not impede, do not get in their way, or you might get hurt. If Walz felt that way, I think that's the message that would be coming out. His message is, I just spoke with the White House after another horrific shooting by federal agents this morning. Minnesota has had it. This is sickening, he wrote. President must end this operation, and that's the real key. That's what's most important to them. Stop deporting all of our voters. That's what's important. Pull the thousands of violent, untrained officers out of Minnesota. Look, these officers have cameras on them pretty much 24/7. They have body cameras. They also have their own cameras to protect themselves. And there's at least 20 people around at all times filming themselves getting in the face of these cops. So if the cops were really the agitators, if the cops were really being as racist as they said they were being, we'd know about it, because these agitators would put it out there. But they always seem to be missing the point when the cops go overboard. My Verta says the mere fact that you would consider the opposite side of or scenario shows you have critical thinking. Unfortunately, everyone, including NPCs, get a vote in the USA. Yeah, I mean, it is tough, right? It is tough, because this is a situation where I feel the police are doing their justified duty, and they should be allowed to do their duty. They are supporting the law in this case. But what if I don't? Let's just, for gee whiz sake, let's just say that Democrats get in power and they jam the Supreme Court with 2 or 4 more justices, and now there's a 9-person or a 11-person or whatever number of Supreme Courts, and 65 or 66% of it is jammed with leftist activists as our Supreme Court. And they determine the First Amendment is unconstitutional, and they want to make changes so you can't say certain things, and they want to lock down social media, and they say the Second Amendment needs modification because that's unconstitutional. Would we support the Supreme Court? Would we support the Supreme Court? Would we abide by the Supreme Court? What if the federal government then came out and said, you can't have the First Amendment, we're going to arrest you. Can't have the Second Amendment, we're going to arrest you. If I didn't see people in the street fighting back, I would be disappointed in my country. So we do, as critical thinking people and staying ahead of the curve, we do have to think like our opponents think and understand their radicalism, their craziness, because if the roles were reversed, I think what's going on is tame. If the government took away my First Amendment and Second Amendment rights, what they're doing is I would be out on the streets. I would be more over the top than these people are right now. But it's because it's a cause I believe in. They're out there because A, some of them are radical loonies that believe in this, and B, some of them are paid to make the crowds seem bigger. Hydromage says $10. Thank you very much, sir. If you're armed, you're not a protester. I agree. At that point, you are an agitator and or combatant. Even if you have the right to conceal carry or something like that, if you're going to confront the government and you are packing, I would classify you as a combatant at that point. If we're just being honest. Anyway, neither the White House or Department of Homeland Security have said what precipitated. Big words. Wait, let me find my button. I know you're going to say it.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Department of Homeland Security have said what precipitated the event, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Well, now you notice this, okay? You notice this headline from the New York Post, okay? This is a good way to kind of try to find the truth when you're looking for news. Shots fired, federal police subdue man brandishing a gun. Okay, that is what the video kind of showed. It's what the DHS said. Okay, now it doesn't mean that it's not a lie by the government, but this is what this headline says. What does NBC News say? Federal agents shoot and kill a man in Minneapolis. That's it. No context, no news, no anything. They just come out and they say, well, cop shot somebody, everybody. That's very, very, very much like what how the news goes from the left. I think they have some updates here. I'll get to this in a minute. We actually have the video of what happened. Let me bring this up full screen. But anyway, this is from Nick Sorter. U.S. Border Patrol involved in Minneapolis. Here we go again. Fighting a man. Then the agents said he pulled out a. There we go. He pulled out and brandished it. Well, let's find out. You hear commentary from somebody filming this inside of a building, so you're going to hear somebody obviously screaming and freaking out. But the important thing is to watch what's going on where the guy is being taken down to the ground, And when you hear the first shot ring out, because supposedly this guy did either brandish or fire off a round.
So much, man, and they keep pushing people, you know?
So for those of you just listening, he's taking the guy, there are about 5 officers taking the guy down to the ground. Now, at this point, none of the officers have drawn their sidearm. You can see that very clearly in the video. They have the guy down. They are striking him, which I don't know why. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing that they're doing that. That's just what they're doing. And there's the first round. So you hear the first round go off, and none of the, as far as I can see, again, that doesn't mean they're not, but none, as far as I can see, let me bring this up a little bit for you guys so you can get a better view of what I'm seeing here. So the cops have him onto the ground. They're kind of beating him and holding him down, and you can see them punching him in the face. Now, this guy up here on the far right in the green jacket, he does look like he's reaching for his sidearm, but he doesn't draw it as far as I can tell. And I don't think his would be the first that rang out. Yeah, he didn't draw it. He's using both his hands to push away other cops. And you hear the round pop off right around there. So I don't think it's, just from my viewing, I don't think it's any of the officers, because I don't see anybody, you know, holding their sidearm out. And I don't think a cop would, you know, unless it's one of the cops right on top of him and he draws and he buries it in his body and pops him. I don't think it's one of the cops. Oh. Now from there, all the cops back up after you hear the first round. All the cops back up, they all draw, and then they turn this guy into a pin cushion.
Oh shit! What the fuck? They killed him? Did they?
And then all you hear is this guy in the restaurant. Oh, they killed him. Oh no, it's horrible. Well, when you when you go after a cop. Well, yes, one dude and all those cops. Now let me see if I have the image of the guy again. I forget which news story it was from, but they show him getting, maybe it's one of the posts I have. Let me see. Anyway, the after effect is, of course, that there's tear gas all over the place. People are screaming and running around. The cops had to toss gas out there to try to stop the event. Here's more of the law enforcement response. Let me go back to full screen so you can see it, and I got to resize my screen here because I'm so professional. Can you tell I do this for a living? This is from Fox News Alerts here. We'll play this. I'll shrink my fat head out of the way. There we go.
Live image. Let's go to Garrett Tenney. He is live in Minneapolis. Garrett.
Yeah, and Kaylee, this just happened this past hour, so details are still coming in. We'll get a clearer picture as this unfolds.
Something else I need to do. I always need to play videos back at 1 1/4 speed, because otherwise these news agencies slam me for copyright, and then my video gets taken down. And I want this video to stay up so you can see it. So I'm going to just speed this up a little bit.
So it's still early, but what we are being told at this point from DHS is that Border Patrol had some type of interaction with a man who was armed. This is a picture that our Bill Malusian got from DHS. This is the gun and 2 magazines that they say he was armed with, and Border Patrol engaged him. There was a shooting. DHS says that CPR was being performed on that person, and the Star Tribune reports that person has now been taken to the hospital by ambulance. While the details are...
Spoiler alert, he died. He did not make it. Surprisingly, when you have 5 officers put, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 rounds in you each, you don't tend to do very well. Spoiler alert.
Still coming in. We are already seeing reaction to this. Governor Tim Walz just tweeted out, I just spoke with the White House after another horrific shooting by federal agents this morning. Minnesota.
All right, we heard that part. I read that part. So no need to continue on there. Let's see what else we got here. Here's Walz's statement. We've already read that. More chaos in Minneapolis
These
here.
are smoke bombs. It was peaceful when we began to talk, and we noted that rhetoric really matters now, and calming tensions really matters. What are we seeing on our screens now? What's your analysis of this?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to keep things calm and, diffuse the tension. Again, Kaylee, this is not what agents ever want to have happen. It's insulting to hear this governor make it seem like, this is the wild, wild west and this is what they want to be doing. This is not what they want to be doing. They are literally enforcing the laws. These are targeted interactions. These are targeted operations. They are simply doing their job. And again, without the details of who this subject is, whether they were someone that they were arresting, whether they were a bystander or protester, frankly, when you're looking at the deadly force policies, that's completely irrelevant. For them, they are literally looking at what we've gone over and over before. But my piece of advice to anyone in Minneapolis and frankly anywhere in the country, let the law enforcement do their job. If you don't want to run into problems, stay out of the...
I find this fascinating. You can see the video here. Somebody pouring water in the eyes of one of the rioters / protesters. At this point, I pretty much think they're rioters. And it's a female. It's like a young woman. They truly have been compromised, I think, by the over-the-top stuff. Roughneck says, hey, sorry I'm late. Welcome, sir. Cobalt says, make sure you read the chats on YouTube every 10 minutes. Don't forget Big Honky's YouTube super chat. No, I saw that. We're doing that as we go. Thank you, Cobalt. Roughneck says this is what the left wants. They've been fomenting this shit for years, finally starting to boil over. They want to use this as this is all the political power they have, is being against whatever conservatives, Republicans, and Trump is doing. And the ironic thing is Republicans aren't really doing that much. They have codified zero of the executive orders that Trump has put through, other than the big, beautiful bill. Republicans have codified zero of them. So all these awesome things that Trump says, I'm signing an executive order on this, Republicans haven't passed them. So, I wish the Republicans were as dominating and as powerful and trying to fix our country as much as the left says they are, but they're really do-nothing nobodies, in my opinion. If you don't know anything about me, I hate all government, but I tend to at least like the government that's going to screw me the least, if that's our given options. And right now, Republicans really aren't doing much, to be honest with you. So a Maverick says, one cop on top of subject has empty hand while struggling with subject, comes up and out holding a gun, perhaps taken from subject. No, because I don't think they'd fire at that point in time. But again, it depends on the training of the agents. If these are a lot of agents that do not have a lot of skill and this is their first time in the field, and they get a little scared, although I don't think they're going to be sending new agents, at least me. If I were overseeing this thing and we're hiring 50,000 ICE officers and CBP, I wouldn't be sending the green guys to Minneapolis and California and these other hotbeds. They'd be the guys that are doing something like in Florida, where the government down there supports it and you don't have all the crazies out there. Yaga King says, I'm only speculating, but if that initial pop sounded like a firework, if that was the case, somebody got scared. It could be. At this point in time, we don't have enough information, and I'm with you. I'm just trying to speculate and figure out what's going on. I have an opinion. I'm obviously very biased when it comes to this situation, but I am trying to at least give the benefit of the doubt, and I'm trying to steelman the argument so that, I don't want to come out here and just say, oh, no, it was definitely the cops were in the right. And because then if something later on turns out, I jumped the gun on that stuff, I lose credibility. The last thing I want to do is lose credibility. I want you guys to be able to say, well, he's telling us what he believes, but also he's trying to be fair. That's all I can do when it comes to this stuff. Roughneck says Trump needs to grow a pair, declare the Insurrection Act, and start arresting and putting this shit down. Lefty judges and juries are letting both illegals and these nutcases off. We're already in low-level civil war. Trump needs to act like it and put it down. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Insurrection Act here in just a minute. Nerf Magnet says test. I say pass. Bubek says Nika, you missed a couple supers on YouTube. Yes, you did. STF also. Okay. Well, I'm trying. Maverick says it's what I just saw in the video you shared. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not saying that I'm getting it 100% right. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm just telling you what I see and trying to be fair about it. That's all I'm saying. Let me scroll back and see if I missed anything. I didn't miss any supers. Shut up. Just because I don't read them when you want me to. So you shut up. Let's see. Huge law enforcement response. I wanted to talk about this for a second, too. This is from Cam Higby. Now, he says he's infiltrated organizational signal groups. That could also mean he signed up for it and they let him in. It's just like when people say, oh, my girlfriend hacked my Facebook. And in reality, the girlfriend knew your password and signed in. That's not hacking. Now, maybe he did infiltrate, but more than likely he just signed up and got into the group. He said, I've infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. He said each area of the city has a signal or several signal groups. Let's start with a screen recording all the members of the South Side group to chat. I'm going to mute this and just play this through, but you will see there is a lot of names in here. While that's scrolling, Static Crazy Man says, Joker, greetings from Estonia. Wow, Estonia. Well, hello, sir. Be safe and healthy, my man. Also keeping great content coming. Keep watching. Hey, if I have breaking news for Estonia, I'll be the first to talk about it, my friend. I try to cover news from kind of all around the world that impacts the largest number of men. But for those of you still listening, this thing is still scrolling, and they're only at the P's. It's 30 seconds of scrolling on this stuff, man. This is a lot of people involved in this. And it's not like if you look, let me bring this screen up full screen too. I'll bring this up because I want you to see this as well. I can't really zoom in because why does everybody, I know why everybody films vertically. When I was younger, we used to scream at everybody, stop filming vertically. Because, when you're watching on a monitor or something, you get this little strip in the middle and you could get a much bigger picture. But now everybody is back to filming vertically because of social media, like Instagram and TikTok, and ban vertical filming. That's all I have to say. There, if you're just listening again, there are thousands, maybe 5,000 to 7,000. I don't think I'd say 10, maybe. But now you look down there, in the way down there, there might be 10,000 people out in literally negative 11-degree weather, just marching up and down protesting. I just do not understand them being this strong against getting rid of the people that are scamming you, that are robbing from you, that are taking your jobs if you're a lower wage person, that are, the Somali Leering Center, scamming you out of billions of your tax dollars that could go to minorities if you care about that thing, that could go to women if you care about that thing. But no, you're like, no, let the Somali people steal from us. We must let them. I just do not understand it. This all blew up over Nick Shirley covering this stuff. And it's like, how do you not, isn't there just some point in your head where you're like, these people are taking my money, they're scamming me, they're living in $1 million homes, driving around in $100,000 cars, they're stealing my money. And the left's reaction to this is yes, and it's a good thing. How? Why? That's just stupidity to me. That's just insanity to me. Let's see. Maverick says it's what I just saw in the video you shared. Okay, thank you, sir. And I want you to say what I only want you to say what I agree with. Well, sorry, Roughneck. I know you don't feel that way, but SSDD says, hey, Joker, y'all staying warm down there. It's -5 here in Western New York. Yeah, right now outside here, it's in the 20s. It's in the mid-20s. But so far, my fireplace is keeping me at a toasty 64 degrees in the house. I just woke up and I just started a fire, so it hasn't warmed up in here yet. Where's My Mind says, I've been watching you for over 5 years. Thanks for helping me keep my sanity with all the stupidity going on in politics and dating. You're welcome, sir. And while I'm on that topic, by the way, guys, while I'm on that topic, for those of you on YouTube, now for those of you on Rumble and Locals, I've been doing news stories for like the past, I don't know, 2 years or so over on those channels. For those of you on YouTube, I've always tried to keep it non-political, not really news that didn't affect men, if I'm to be honest with you. However, just looking at my own metrics from the last, I don't know, 20 videos that I've put out, the videos I'm doing on women bad, women crazy, dating bad, marriage bad, divorce bad, I think it's kind of effed out. You know what I mean? Like there's so many channels that are doing red pill stuff now, and there's so many memes and so many videos of women being bad that, and I've been talking about for the last year over on Locals. I've been talking about the last year. It's like I feel like it's kind of run my course for me in many ways. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop it completely, but it does mean I want to start shifting to what's going on in the world that I think affects men in other ways. Like I've got a 7 by 14 foot cargo trailer that I use to move here to Tennessee. I'm going to modify that to be a livable tiny trailer, and I'm going to film that. And so you guys that are, like trying to find a way to succeed and get ahead, I can talk about buying land and setting up your own off-grid tiny house situation, maybe using a small trailer, or you could live in a trailer and you have to move for work. Like I just have a bunch of different ideas, and I'd like to cover them other than, can you believe what these crazy women did? Because that's kind of getting, I think, stale for everybody at this point. Because Red Pill won. We're in everywhere. We're mainstream. We're on TikTok. We're not banned or shadow banned anymore, although I think I carry that over from the olden days. And it's popular content. So I think we need to kind of shift on from that a little bit. Mephistoxeries 85 says, Elon Musk said it. The zombie mind virus, I believe there's a large amount in the population completely in the cult. I agree, but I think there's people on the right that are in the mind virus and the left. I do think it's both sides. And so, when I'm talking about subjects and I mention anything that I don't like Trump did or anything that I don't like the left did, there's a lot of people that come out and just start screaming at you. And you kind of have to say to yourself, well, no, people... Like, I'm not all in with anything ever. I'm never 100% in, except don't get married. Don't let the courts ruin you. Other than that, you have to keep an open mind and try to say, if things change, can I shift my feelings on something? Can I shift my stance on something? Can I shift the way I see the world? That's important. And if you can't do that, then you're kind of falling into the hive mind. And I think it's important that you be able to shift gears depending on what happens. What I see, though, from the left and sometimes from the right is they're immediately anti-government if the wrong party is in the government, and maybe rightfully so. But if your party gets into the government and you're all happy, and then they start doing things to screw you, you shouldn't not call them out. You should still hold their feet to the fire, because that's how we make real change. Otherwise, we're just puppets of the machine. Let's see. Kryptonian Jedi says, you have credibility. Well, I try. Spike says Minnesota will lose one electoral vote in 2030 and could be more with deportations. Plus, the fraud donates to the DNC. It's about losing power. That's why they're out causing problems. Yes, they count illegals in the census. And that gives them seats in Congress, I think it is. It's not the Senate. I think there's 2 senators per state. I think it's the Congress that gets the number of delegates based on population. That's why deporting the illegals is bad, and not counting illegals in the census is bad, because the Democrats lose a lot of power. They'd be losing 30 or 40 seats if they didn't count illegal immigrants in the census. That's why they want to do that. Disco Doom Ducky says, every liberal I know works in a climate-controlled, low-impact environment. I don't think those people running around in this weather are liberals. No, well, true. I have the old habit of calling liberals liberal. These are leftists. These are far left leftists. They're anarchists. They're Marxists. They're socialists. That's the people doing this stuff. Yes, I suppose they're good liberals, but they're the ones that will refuse to call these people leftists. when you've got the Bill Maher's and the, I don't know, the CNN's, the collapsing news network, when they're the ones calling these people good liberals, they're saying, and then they call themselves liberals, they're saying they're in bed with this. So, okay, like if you're afraid to call them far left, that means you're in bed with these people. But I agree with you. Yes, there are regular liberals, but let me get caught up on these, and then we'll keep getting going on here. Hopper says, I can't focus on red pill as much with the early stages of a civil war potentially unfolding. Virginia, meanwhile, is terrifying. Where do we go from here? I don't have an answer for that. You just got to play it by ear. Keep voting for the people you think will help you out the most, and then be ready to fight them when they screw you. I guess that's all you can do. Bosnia says, deep state has been trying to use immigration to create demographic change and elect a new people. It's radical ethnic warfare for political power. Yeah, there's a couple videos I've seen from some rabbis out of Israel that were being interviewed by the left, and they were saying that we need to continue to force the migration of peoples into these countries to tear them down. And it was a high-ranking rabbi from Israel that was saying this. Now, I don't think he was part of the government, but he was high up in the clergy over in Israel. So when you have someone like from Israel that is involved with the church saying, you know, this is some of the stuff that we're using our causes for with AIPAC and other things like that, you do have to listen. You know, it's one thing to be, oh, I hate the Jews. Okay, we hear you. It's another thing to say anything you say whatsoever that's the least tiny bit critical of Jewish people is anti-Semitism. That's wrong. You got to call them out for their craziness too. And there's many of them that are crazy enough to say, nope, this is exactly what we want because we believe we need to squash this. I mean, it is what it is. Let me read the last couple from YouTube, then we'll keep going here. Mephistoxley says, by the way, Joker, been following you for a very, very long time. One of your OG first subscribers. Thank you all. Thank you for all that you do and have done. God bless you and love you from England or Airstrip One. Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you for the 20 British pounds. I appreciate that. Pretty soon we're going to be tipping each other in silver and gold here if the price of silver and gold keeps going up and the dollar keeps collapsing. Sue Dasavone says $6. Thank you, sir. Oh, I just expanded that. How do I collapse that? Now it's asking me to sign into chat. What? Cut it out. By the way, I'm viewing my stream as an unsigned in just person because for some reason when I sign into YouTube, it screws up my live stream. I don't know why it's doing that to me. All right, let's keep going here. This from Gunther Eagleman. He was the first to report this, so I wanted to read his post. Breaking, the armed suspect shot by Border Patrol in Minneapolis has died, per the police chief. 2 magazines, along with his sidearm. Bill Melguin confirms that he's been ended. This is the funny thing, too. They say he was shot multiple times. Medics did CPR. I do find this interesting. You attack the cops. The cops unload into you, maybe, I don't know, 10 rounds, 12 rounds. And then the cops say, okay, everybody hold your fire. And then they go in and give CPR. I would think if you really do want the guy to maybe continue existing, you wouldn't just mag dump into him. Maybe that's just me. But if you do, now, if you want the guy to expire and you're like, bang, 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 bang. Oh, no, we've Swiss cheesed him. Let's save him, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Oh, please hang in there, buddy. Come on, you can make it. Maybe that's what they're doing. But I have a feeling if you really wanted the guy to, make it, you put the minimum amount of lead in him. Maybe that's just me. Videos out showing the incident. We don't know every detail, but he pulled on agents apparently. So that's what they're saying. And they have another video. Cody says the useful idiots protesting for third worlders that could care less about them. Very true. Great video, Joker. Thank you for being a voice of reason and common sense. I do my best. I'm sure plenty of people won't agree with me. Official statement from Border Patrol Union. Border Patrol agents are trained extremely well to protect themselves, their fellow agents, and innocent third parties. When a supposed peaceful protester brings a weapon such as a loaded handgun and brandishes it, there's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. We've pleaded with and warned the media and the politicians that their irresponsible, hate-filled, and false rhetoric is going to get people unnecessarily hurt or even worse, killed when they portray our agents and officers as the aggressors. They've encouraged these reckless confrontations that attack and attacks on our agents and officers who are performing their lawful duties and enforcing the laws that Congress has put on the books. The fake and dishonest media and the shameless politicians should be held accountable for willfully misleading the public and enticing these protesters and agitators. We have full confidence that when more facts are revealed, our agents and officers will be shown to have utilized justifiable force in eliminating the threat. And they have 12,000 likes on this. And you know, here's a response. It's on camera. The agent has the guy's gun before he's shot. Maybe, but this may be a case, and we've seen this a lot. One movie, two different films, right? One movie, two different films. Just like when you watch this Karen Good, or whatever her name was, the lady that got ended because she tried to hit a cop with her vehicle. I watched it, and when you take a vehicle, and I talked about this at length, so I'm not going to go over this a ton. But you've got a guy standing there with his camera, an agent with a camera, taking a picture of the car. She reverses and is turning the wheel to where the guy doesn't walk in front of her car. The agent doesn't walk in front of her car. She backs up and turns so that now the agent is in front of her car. And he continues to walk across to get out of the way, and that's when she guns it. We see the tires spin when it's pointed at the agent. It was, in my opinion, and I have law enforcement training. I was in the Air Force trained as a law enforcement officer, not as a security police force. In my view, and under the rules we were given, that would have been clean. He was okay to defend himself. But we see, and then you can see another clip, obviously, of him getting clipped. And they said he had internal bleeding. Yeah, it could be bruises. It could have been very light internal bleeding. It could have been bruising. Who knows? But the point is, though, that after seeing all that, half of us were like, it was clean. It was justified. And the other half said, see, she wasn't a risk. She shouldn't have been ended. That's what happens, is we see this, and we're watching the same movie, but both of us have a different story that is being concluded from this. And that's where I don't think there's any middle point anymore, where this country or the UK or Germany, or like, you're either on the right or you're on the left. And there is no, all right, we can agree, we disagree, let's shake hands and come together now. It's been going like this from a long time. And I think it's just going to get worse. Peter Soyanov, I'm not good at reading names, that's just my thing, says, greetings from the failing continent, EU. What is the psyop of the day, good sir? Should I pour a regular whiskey or an old strong one? I don't think there's too much psyop with this one. This one seems pretty clean cut. We're going to have to watch and see the video that comes out. Big Honk says, in deadly force situations, you're trying to neutralize the threat. There's no disabling, popping tires, or going for leg shots. I agree with you. I am in agree. But what I'm saying, though, is that you do want to strike, as an officer, you're taught to strike center mass. If you do that once or twice and the guy stops moving and he's already on the ground, you're probably good. What I don't like to see is, and I'm being honest, I can't say that I wouldn't do any different in my situation, but what I don't like to see is when somebody is on the ground and you've popped a round into him and he's still, and then the other cops quickly go bang, 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 and you put like 8 more rounds. I'm not saying it's not justified even. It might be fully justified. It might be legal. Those guys maybe want to make sure he doesn't move again, ever, including taking a breath for the, but I personally, I won't call it excessive. I don't think it's excessive, but I also don't like it, just because I do cherish and value human life. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Anyway, Inside Wire said he's expired. What else do we have here? Okay, here's a different point of view. Let me bring this up. We have another video in from somebody else. The person that's right here in the red on the left-hand side. This is who's filming this, apparently. I'm going to see if I can zip this up a little bit so you can see the officers here. I have not seen this video yet. I wish I had a better way to zoom in. I haven't seen this video yet either, so we'll see if we can glean any other information from this. Okay, so the guy was up on his knee. I can see that much. Boy, it's really hard to see. I'm going to keep zooming it up for you guys. It's so blurry. You know, it is 2025. How do we have cell phone video that looks like absolute ass? This woman is 10, 15 feet away from them. Why does your phone look like ass? You know what you need to do, lady? Go work for a Somali luring center and get some of their embezzled funds and get a decent camera. That's all I'm saying. It's like we're trying to film Bigfoot in 1960 over here. Get a better camera. Okay, the guy was on his knee. As far as I can tell, he was on his knee. Okay, he's on the ground. Looks like he does get up to his knee. It's really hard to tell, but he does look to appear to put his right arm towards his waist. If I'm if I look at the guy that before he falls to the ground, it looks like he gets up on his knees and he puts his right arm right there to his side, because he's got his left arm on the ground right there. Pulls it up, sits up, and puts his hand on his right hip. And let's hear it from this point. Okay, it looked like he was starting to reach down to his side to draw, and the cop shot him. That's what it looks like to me, if I'm just calling this like I see it. So right here, he gets up, he's on his knee, he reaches to his right side, he starts to pull his elbow back, and that's when he gets it. I think this is going to be justified in this one. As best as I can tell, that looks clean to me. Again, it's just my opinion. I zoomed it up. I let you guys watch it. That's as clean as I can get it. It's as clean as I can get the video. I try my best for you. But it does look like he's up to his knees. He brings his right arm back, and as soon as his elbow comes up, like he is starting to draw, that's it. Let me catch up on live chats over here. Let's see. Mike says, after seeing all this stuff going down, I'm glad I live in the middle of nowhere. Me too, buddy. Me too. Bosnia says, communists storming churches and killing police for arresting criminals is historical, planned, and always accelerates. They will escalate. Soviet did it. Chinese communists did it. Cuba did it. Cambodians did it. Venezuela did it. If this is not crushed, they will start burning down churches, which they're already doing. Desecrating bodies, let's hope not mass endings. They've done that in a couple churches. Remember, just last year, a guy ran his pickup truck into a church, opened fire on everybody inside, and then tried to light the place on fire. That happened was it last year? Year before? I mean, it's already happening. And mass bombings, yeah. Arrest Don Lemon. I think we should do the Insurrection Act, if I'm to be honest, but the left will use that as a political tool to say, Trump's declaring war against our own citizens. And the average, everyday, mouth-breathing people that can't rub two brain cells together won't go back in history and look at all the times that we've actually put the Insurrection Act into effect, whether it was stopping labor unions, whether it was stopping other things. I won't get down into the history of it. We have bred a generation of stupid people, and they don't have critical thinking, and they don't want people to have critical thinking because that makes it very hard to lie and to manipulate you. And so they want you dumb, and they want you to be sheep, and they've successfully they successfully bred a generation of dummies. Not all of them. Not all of them. I'm not saying all young people are all, Gen X or millennials or alpha or all that. I'm not saying they're all dumb, but there's a lot of them without cognitive thinking. Pelagic says FAFO. Oh, he says $100. Hey, thank you very much, man. I gotta. Let me see. I have 2 buttons I could hit. We'll hit the good one. Also, as a reminder,
don't chase women. They'll chase you.
There you go. Thank you very much for the Hyundai. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. Yeah, the problem with the FAFO, and let's say everybody on the right, and I'm not saying you guys saying it are on the right, but there's a lot of people that are screaming, oh, Insurrection Act, Insurrection Act, Insurrection Act. The minute Trump does that and he sends in troops, that is what the left wants. The left will then use that as, Trump sends the military, Trump sends the army to take down innocent protesters. Trump puts the full weight of the government against these poor, innocent people. That's what they're going to do. So what Trump is doing instead, I think personally, is the smart move. He's letting these agitators and these people go out there, and what they're doing is they're acting a fool, and they're being filmed acting like fools. Most people support police officers. Many people voted for Trump to get rid of the illegal immigration, and he said it wouldn't be pretty, and he said he wouldn't be using the military. He'd be using local law enforcement, and in this case, yes, he is using ICE. And now what do the protesters do? The protesters are going into Targets and Walmarts, and they're filling their carts full of products. I saw a video on this the other day. They're doing this in Minneapolis. They're filling to protest Target supporting ICE, or to protest Lowe's supporting the government and conservatives and all this stuff. They're filling their carts full of stuff. They get in line to check out, and then they're just walking away. And they're leaving a cart full of groceries or full of product in the grocery line. There's a picture from Minneapolis Airport, a video in Minneapolis Airport that was trending earlier today, where people are trying to board their planes, and these protesters are marching at the airport, blocking people from going on their flights. Now, let's say you're a liberal person. You're just a liberal. You don't like Trump. You don't like what the conservatives are doing. But you're like, something, whatever. I don't care. And you're on a plane to go visit family, and you want to get out of there before the snowstorm. Or you're in Target trying to get your groceries cleared up before this new nor'easter storm's coming in and going to, give everybody a hard time. And you're standing in line, and these idiots are filling up the line, won't let you get on your flight. You're now anti-left. You're a liberal, but you're now against the loonies. That's a winning position. These people are going so crazy that now they're out. Bill Maher hates Donald Trump. Bill Maher has trashed conservatives for 20 years. And Bill Maher's on here saying, I don't agree with these people. He's not saying he likes Trump, but he says, hey, these people are crazy. I don't agree with these people. They've gone too far. So when you have liberals, you've got middle-of-the-road leftists, or middle-of-the-road to left-leaning leftists. God darn it, I keep mixing up the terms. You've got middle-of-the-road to left-leaning liberals now hating the leftists. That is a winning position. You don't change that. You don't go in and use force with the Insurrection Act and then have the liberals saying Trump's gone too far. He's crazy. He's evil. I'm now on the side of the leftists. That's not what you do. You make them play their hand. That's what you do. Big Daddy Joe says, world's going to hell in a handbasket. Glad I'm closer to the end. Don't want to see how this one ends. You're going to probably, unless you're in your 80s, you're probably going to see this one play out. By the way, thanks for the motorcycle advice. Enjoy my 5th season. Thanks, Joker. Hey, if you're not a motorcycle rider, make sure to do it safely. Make sure to get lessons. That is, road therapy is my therapy, and it is the best therapy. When I did my 1.5 years backpacking around the world, I think that literally saved my sanity. It probably saved my life. I worked through a lot of things, walking, I don't know, 7,000 miles in a pair of boots, crossing the world. It will do wonders for you. I think I really genuinely do believe it saved me. Also Pretty Girls in Scandinavia. That helped a little bit. Yago King says, Joker, there are grown adults in corporate jobs that can't even read and rely on voice commands and text-to-speech. I know. I actually have an upcoming story about that. Believe it or not. College graduates that can't read and write English. Let me see where I left off. Nerf Magnet says, I learned so much watching the news. So far, I know not to run over an agent, not to pull a gun on an agent. Yeah, you don't have to have many brain cells to know you shouldn't do that. Let me read the last of these, and I'll get back to the news. I can answer the AI overcooks the recording. Could be. Spliff says, a shitty video because she's got a shitty phone and a mobile plan. Bet she leases an entry-level Mercedes, though, probably. Bosley says, at a certain point, you need to be like Franco. Don't care what they say about you. Crush the communists into dust. Yes, but remember, we have an election system here. And we got midterms coming up. So Trump is trying to save the Republican Party so they can continue to do nothing for you. That's how you have to feel about this. Trump is making sure Republicans can make it in the House, and we don't get any Democrats in the Senate, and we still hold control of the House or the Senate. So it's important Trump keeps the midterms and doesn't go too crazy so Republicans can stay in power. Okay? They've passed 0 executive orders by Trump. Why do we need them? Why does it matter? Republicans are doing nothing anyway. So why do we care who's in office? They all hate you. If you haven't figured that out, they all hate you. Period. They want to get rich, and they want to do whatever they want to do. Let's see. Spliff says the pickup truck in a church a few years ago in Sulphur Spring, Texas. He was mentally ill, prior service member who wasn't getting any help, and VA guy wasn't politically motivated. But it does highlight dysfunction in our society. Yeah, but he did still attack a church and try to burn it. So whether it's left doing it or somebody else, it still happened. Nerd says $5. Thank you, sir. Why is ICE just ending people? Trump said no war is going to aid in many. Trump is dog shit, and I voted for him twice his last term, and now he's a bitch ass going back to everything. F Trump. He's not doing a great job. I mean, he's doing a good job on something. The border, I'm great with. Deportations, I'm great with. H-1B visas, he's not doing enough. Now he backtracks and he says, oh, we'll keep some of the good immigrants that are working on farms. No, get them out of there. I don't care if food prices go up. Hire American workers. Give them insurance. Not these guys under the table. I agree with you. There's a lot of things that Trump is getting wrong, in my opinion. But he's certainly better than the alternative. If Kamala had won, we'd have 10 million more immigrants here. That's just the way it is. Merlin says you don't see motorcycles parked at psychiatrist's office. That's right. You do see them parked at the hospital, though. so be careful when you're driving out there. That's all I got to say. Let's see. Federal agents. Let's see if we have any updates. This is Fox News here. We'll see if they have any updates. Let me refresh the story here to see if we've got anything new. This is from 11, updated at 12:24, so their updates are 2 hours old. Let's see if NBC News is more updated. Last updated 1:55 p.m. So yes, okay, this is what they know so far. Federal agents ended the guy. Incident shows them taking him to the street. He was ended during the struggle. Homeland Security, Border Patrol officers found 9mm semi-automatic handgun. Officer fearing for his life. I think if he was, if video body cam does come out showing him yanking the weapon out, I think it's over and done. Dozens of masked federal immigrant. Well, yeah, they're masked because otherwise you dox them. All right, so it doesn't seem that we have too much here. We'll just go check the latest. Oh, here's what I wanted to talk about before we tap out and check the very latest before I end the stream here. This is what I was talking about, the Insurrection Act of 1807. It's been used multiple times. It's not like this is brand new. It's been used against to protect the Black Americans from the Democrats in the South, for the Klan. It's been used against the Democrats during the Reconstruction era of the desegregation act, the civil rights movement. It was used against the Democrats then. It's been used to stop. What was it? Strikes on certain industries. And so it's been used, and it's been used more against Democrats than Republicans, from what I can tell. And another thing too, if you do want to research this, look into Bleeding Kansas a little bit. I'm not going to do a history lesson here, but do look into Bleeding Kansas, because Bleeding Kansas is, that was 5 years before. Actually, it started in 1954, and the Civil War kicked off in 1854. I'm sorry. It started in 1854, and Civil War kicked off in 1861. So that's 7 years? 7 years of madness before we actually got to anything official. So this could go on for several more years, the insanity. So it is what it is at that point. Let's see. Anything new? I don't see anything. Oh, Will Stansel. Okay, so Will Stansel is a leftist, and he's saying this over on Blue Sky social media. He says, all Minnesota protesters, absolutely nothing could be worse for our cause than violence and rioting. Yes, I agree. It's what ICE and Trump obviously want. No. It's what your Democrat leaders that keep telling you to protest and stand up to this movement, and you need to be dangerous and get out there and get in the faces of these people. This isn't what Trump wants. This is what Democrats want. This is what, no, it's not, was it no, it's not 1871. Wasn't Civil War 1861? Now I'm going to have to look. Civil War dates. April 12th, 1861 to May 26th, 1865. All right, whoever in chat just said 1871, I win. You're incorrect on that. But I was willing to check. He says it's a very dangerous moment. If it tilts into broad civil unrest, not only will give it Trump exactly what he wants, you'll destroy the very businesses, neighborhoods, and livelihoods we have been working so hard to protect. I agree. They cannot destroy our city and neighborhoods, but we can. Don't give them what they want. I agree. So this is, David J. Beer says, this incredibly dangerous moment. DHS wanted this moment. Please protest nonviolently. No, it's not what DHS wants. They just want to get in and get the people out. Will Stansel's actually right. I do agree with him. He's trying to bring the tension down. So I do agree with him. I'm in full agreement here. I may have misread that. I guess I was thinking David J. Beer was saying this is a dangerous moment from what Will said. No, what Will said is right. He's trying to de-escalate. But it's not the cops that want this. It's the Democrats that keep ratcheting things up and saying get in their faces and we must stop them and we must drive them out of the communities. That seems to me the people that are ratcheting this up. Okay, so breaking from Minneapolis, the man who was shot by federal agents was 37-year-old, a U.S. citizen, a legal owner of a firearm with a permit to carry it, according to the Minneapolis police chief. Okay, so if he had a permit, he had it on his waist, and he got in a scuffle with cops, they shouldn't have the justification to end him. However, if he did reach for it and start pulling it out, that's where it gets bad for you. And that's what I think is going to... Right there's the way, by the way. This is the way you end a protest. When it's wintertime, this is the peaceful way to end a protest. You drive out there with a water tank truck and you spray everybody with water. That's what you do. If it's wintertime, negative 11 degrees, and you want them to go away, you don't have to hit them with tear gas. Just go out and spray them with water. That's the end of that. I'm just saying. I don't know. Jess Horn says, did he clear leather? I don't know, but the video I looked and I tried to play back does make it look like he started to pull. It does make him look like he started to pull. He was on his hands and knees. He got his right arm off the ground. This is just my opinion. We all watched it earlier, but it's very blurry, so it's hard to tell. But you do see shadow making it look like his arm's coming back, And then you do see the shadow go up while his hand's at his side. So it does, I could see if this were shown to me in court and you have one or two or three officers said he pulled and they zoomed in and showed me that video, I could say there's not enough there to make me disagree with the cops. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I would necessarily agree wholeheartedly, but there's not enough to say that I would disagree with them. Well, it looks like that is the latest news we have from this. From this point on, we're going to have to keep an eye out for body cam. We're still going to have to keep out for this. Alec Lay says, watch slow motion video shows the suspect drawing his gun right before CBP pops him. Let's take a look at that. Let me bring it up full screen for you guys. Oh, aye. Wrong button. All right, so somebody says that this video shows, let me zoom it back out so you can, because they have it zoomed in already. Let me shrink this down here. All right, they're saying that this shows he pulled. Let's find out. All right, so the guy in the ground, you see this CBP officer right here with the blue shirt. The guy on the ground just to his right, that's on the ground right there. That is the suspect. Okay. Let me rewind this all the way here. All right, slow motion. The guy on his knees, right here between the guy in the blue shirt, the officer in the blue shirt, and this other dark officer. He's on his knees right here. His right arm comes up to his right hip. He throws his jacket back, and usually you're throwing your jacket back to clear so you can draw. And so it does look. He brings his right hand off the ground. Right here, he gets off his knee. He throws his right arm off the ground. It does come up to his right side, but I do not see, maybe he's got it in the front. I don't know. This to me is not 100%. This isn't evidence. I mean, again, you could show this to me in a court and say, but you'd have to give me the narrative. You'd have to say, oh, right here, the cop says this happened. That isn't proof to me. That's not proof. That's not proof. Now, did he fight arrest? Yes, but that's not proof to me that this was clean. All right, that looks, I don't see any new video. Ooh, here's a different angle. Here's a different angle. Okay, so this one says, new footage shows ICE CBP holding both of his hands, his empty hands, when they fired the first one. Okay, let me bring this up. Maybe we have some new video here. Let me zoom this in again for you guys. Because if his hands were empty, but again, this could be the same movie, same movie, two different films. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right, let's see here. All right, let me play this back at like 0.25. Oh, sorry, that's out of view for you. Come on. Learn how to hold a camera still if you're filming this crap. All right, well, let's get to it here. Okay, I see his left hand being held by one officer right here. He's got his left hand. I don't see his right hand being held. Really, lady? All right, well, right here's where he supposedly was yanking it. You can't say he's got 2 empty hands and everything else if it's not in film. All right, that right there is where the round went off. I don't see, you can't even see the guy. How are you going to say this is empty hands? You can't even see the dude. Again, this angle doesn't prove anything. It proves nothing. Spencer says, same movie, 2 films. Now this is the gag reel. Well, I just do not see how this is. I just don't see it. I just do not see it. There's nothing in any of these videos that proved to me that it was clean or proved to me that it was bad. It's just not here. Let me catch up on chats here. Spike says, Jesus did ask his disciples to carry for protection. If your church leader's against that, find a different church. I agree with that. But if you're going to get into a confrontation with police and you have like this is how I would handle it, just being honest. If I went to a protest, I wouldn't be carrying. But if I did, and the cops got in my face, my hands would go just like this, straight up over my head. And I'd say, officer, there is a sidearm on my right side. What do I need to do? You're going to call me crazy, but I'll tell you, as a police officer, that's the best way you de-escalate everything. Put your hands straight up to the sky like you're doing the biggest yoga stretch you've ever done. And you said, on my right side, I have my firearm. What do you need me to do to de-escalate, officer? The officer might say, do not move your hands. I'm going to take it off your hip. And you know what you do at that point? You don't move and you let him take it off your hip. Do you know why? Because there's 5 other guys with guns there. You need to pretend like you're getting mugged by somebody that's armed. That's how you deal with the police if they're, I don't like it, but that is the way you have to, that's the way you got to go. Because any jerky, herky movement, those cops would rather, the old expression goes, they'd rather be tried by 12 than buried by 6. And that's how those cops think. So if you get yourself in a situation, they will shoot first and ask questions later. That's the way you need to think of it if you want to make it out okay. Trust me on that. Let's see. Device says Trump's the greatest president of all time. I know you're trolling. Roughneck says the Constitution no longer means anything. Trump's waiting around and splashing in the Rubicon. He needs to just go for it, bring in Eric Prince and Blackwater, call up the GWOT veterans, just sitting around and getting fat and give them letters of marque. Lefties have already said anyone who is involved in this will go to jail, so we either need to stand together or hang separately. Yeah, they are saying they're going to take out people, that's for sure. They've made it very clear that they're going to go after the ICE agents, CBP, the administration, Trump. Democrats are talking about throwing them all in jail. Whether they do or not, I don't know. We'll find out. All right, so we're caught up on supers. We're caught up on everything. Guys, that is all I have. The new breaking, new latest, look at this. This proves this. This shows this. I have looked at this camera angle. We've seen 3 or 4 different films. Again, this is somebody saying it can now be confirmed. Based on what? Right Angle News Network said, it can be confirmed. Well, you're looking at the same video we just watched, and there's no confirmation there. So we're going to have to go through. Let me get my thumbnail up so I look all professional here. Just a second. We're going to have to go through confirmation. We're going to have to, everybody's saying they know the answer. They know what happened. They know what really is going on. Nothing I've seen shows innocence. Nothing I've seen shows guilt. There's just nothing yet. But this is going to be used to continue to escalate. This is going to be continue to use that each person that's saying that they're right or wrong. This is more proof that I'm right or wrong. This is more proof that we need to continue the fight or we need the insurrection. It's just escalation. That's all this is at this point. I wish, as I come up with more information, I'll probably do a live. Oh, by the way, before I think of this, I almost forgot this. Guys, for those of you on YouTube and for those of you on Rumble, let's see, where did I put this? Where did I save it? Oh, man, did I not save it? I thought I saved it. Hold on just a second. What the heck? I made a really nice thumbnail today, and I can't find it. What is going on? Have I messed up? I made a thumbnail. I don't know where it is though. Oh man, it's probably in one of my buried folders. Anyway, tonight we're going to be watching UFC. What UFC is it? Oh, here it is. Here's my thumbnail. Tonight over on locals.com. You can become a supporter over there. It's $5 a month. But we do live streams. I do news live streams. I do UFC fights. I do movie night. We're going to do the AFC East. No, AFC's already done. AFC and NFC playoffs. That doesn't sound right. AFC National NFC. Yeah, I guess it is. Why does that not sound right? Maybe I was up too late. Anyway, we're doing the playoff games on Sunday. We're going to do the AFC and NFC championships to find out who's going to be in the Super Bowl. That's on Sunday. We'll be watching both games. So that's going to be like a 6-hour live stream. Tonight, we've got UFC Fight Night. We're going to be watching 8 p.m. We're going to skip the lower preliminaries, but we're going to do the prelims and the main event of the UFC Fight Night tonight. I do a bunch of live streams that you guys don't even know about because I don't talk about them much in my videos. But we're going to be doing that over on Locals. Links are going to be down below. I'll edit the video after I'm done here on YouTube. And but we do live streams. We have live chat going. You can share memes over on Locals. It is a very, very good time. Become a supporter today. It's like $5 a month or $4 if you do for a year. And you can jump on board and watch a bunch of fun, cool streams that we do. So anyway, I guess we're going to leave it there. Pay attention, guys. Just, pay attention. Pay attention. Yeah, AFC and NFC. I don't know why that sounded weird to me. I don't know why. My Buffalo Bills once again didn't make it. They show up to the prom, and then the pretty girl tells them they're ugly and kicks them out. They just can't get... They've been to the playoffs, 6 years in a row, 7 years in a row. Kansas City takes them out 4 or 5 years, and then Kansas City doesn't make it, and Broncos take them out. And Bills beat themselves. Let's just face it. All right, anyway. Keep your eyes open, guys. I think we're going to just see escalation after escalation. This is a good reason to make sure you have 30 or 60 days worth of food. Make sure you have fresh water, whether it's for winter storms like we have right now, whether it's for this and things pop off, whether there's a fuel crisis. Just make sure to be prepared as best you can. That's all you can do. But there's no backing down at this point. I don't think there's anything that's going to calm this down. And I think the political divide will get worse. It'll get more dangerous. And we're in for a bad time. I'm just saying. Wrangler just became a supporter over on Locals. Hey, welcome. Welcome. I hope you join us for Fight Night, Wrangler. I can't say the first part of your name because I'm still streaming to YouTube, and YouTube will go click and turn off my stream. But thank you, sir. I hope we see you during UFC. Spliff says, Joker, one more angle from the lady in red. Yeah, I looked at that one, and I didn't see anything there. I didn't see anything. All right, gang, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining me. Join us for movies. Join us for UFC. Join us for football. All over at Locals, betterbachelor.locals.com. I'll put the links down below in like 5 minutes. As soon as I end this, I'll edit it. And we will see you guys tonight. If not, for those of you on YouTube and Rumble, I'll see you in the next video.